Shalom Okatula, everybody. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining us once again. My name's Colin and this is Gladys and we're from Hopecombe Ministries. We'd like to thank you for joining us again in this series, our Limit Breakers series. This is the second video. The first video we talked about Gladys's testimony. She kindly shared her testimony with us, and in this video we just want to unpack a little bit more regarding that testimony and what comes next. So the title of this video is How to Maintain Your Life After Testimony. How do we manage our life after testimony, after deliverance, after healing? How do we continue with that? So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Gladys, and we're going to ask Gladys one or two questions. So I'm just going to have a brief recap really of where we were in Gladys's testimony. She talked about how she'd lost 3 children, 2 in her earlier years and then one later. So the 2 that she lost when she was younger were before she'd come to know Christ as her personal saviour, and the 3rd one was later in her life when she lost her son, who was age 16, and at that time she was a Christian. So what I wanted to ask Gladys, really glad, what I wanted to ask you is, what difference did you find in those 2 situations, the one from the youthful time and the one where you lost your son later on? How did you manage that differently, knowing Christ and not knowing Christ, if you know what I mean?
Shalom. Thank you for the question. It's a good question, because someone will have that question somewhere, and it's good you've asked that. It was not easy. It was not easy, but it was different because 1, I was younger. 2, I had parents, people around me. But there was one thing that was missing. Though they were there to support me, people were there to support me, but they couldn't support me in the inside, if it's the word. So I could be really supported when I'm with people. I know that someone will understand what I mean. When you have comfort, when there is people, you've got that comfort, you accept kind of. But when people are gone, or at night you are alone, that's when you realize that that thing is there, and is there strong. Yes, it's there strong. The question, you could even hear the child crying, you could hear the child crying. It can also be a problem in the sleep. Before you sleep, you are contemplating on it, and after you have slept, you are seeing the dreams. So it's not something that I will say to anyone, just stay there, you're okay. I think I will really want to help someone who's suffering with it. At that young age, I struggled. I really did struggled a lot. So if now I compare it with, remember we are talking about this thing we're talking about here, and it's not a nice thing to talk about at all. But we understand that God allowed things to happen in the lives of people so that we can talk about it, so that we can help other people through it. We've got different biblical characters who went through a lot, not because God was not there. God was there, but God wanted to somehow show who he is. So the next one, like you asked two different scenarios where I was younger and when I am older. When I was now older, when this happened, the difference was that I had Christ. I had Christ, but again, like if you remember, I said there is Christianity and there is true Christianity. I had Christ at some level, at some, a level that could keep me going. Though I lost myself somehow, the moment I went deeper into finding the truth about Christ, I found that peace, that help within, which was what I missed in my first challenges. So challenges, when they are there and you are on your own, is very difficult. But when they are there and you've got the helper inside, the unseen helper, is different. So I can say the difference with Christ and without Christ is a big, big, big difference. Because the helper we're talking about, he constantly lives inside of you. He helps you to think right so that you talk right. He helps you in the dreams to see the better dreams that will brighten your morning. Instead of having nightmare and you woke up, you don't want to talk to people, which was how I was.